Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am Muhammad Amjad, lecturer, Department of Education and Psychology, Kohad University of Science and Technology. I am your instructor for the course Positive Psychology. In today's lecture, we will discuss chapter 2, Measures of Human Strength. So let's start our. First of all, look at the contents which we are going to discuss in our today's lecture. We will discuss early classification of illness, VIA character personality assessment, strength and virtues, and 7 benefits of recognizing your strengths. Now we will discuss early classification of illness. Students, work on the classification of illness had a 2000 years head start on more recent efforts to classify strength and positive outcomes. Therefore, it is easy to understand why we have better understandings of human weaknesses than we do of strengths. The earliest attempt to define a set of virtues is contained in Confucian teachings dated to 500, where Confucius systematically addressed 5 virtues. The first one is Zhen, which he called humanity. The second one is Li, which is observance of rituals and customs, and the third one is Zin, it means truthfulness, and the fourth one is Yi, which means duty or justice, and the fifth one is Zi, which means wisdom. In the 21st century, 2 classifications of illness have attained worldwide acceptance. First, the World Health Organization's International Classification of Disease is in its 10th edition and continues to evolve. And the second one is the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, DSM. Currently, psychologists and psychiatrists are using DSM-5. The ICD is broader in scope than the DSM in that it classifies all diseases, whereas the DSM describes only the mental disorders. Currently, no classification of human strengths or positive outcomes has achieved worldwide use or acceptance. Some classification and measures, however, have been created, refined, and broadly disseminated in positive psychology. Cultivating and using our personal strengths is an integral part of striving for the good life. When we draw on the positive parts of our personality, research shows we can have a more significant positive impact on others, improve our relationships, and enhance our well-being and happiness. So where to begin? By recognizing our strength, of course. The VIA survey is one validated tool that can help us discover our strengths, including those that we tend to use and rely on the most. Read on to find out more about the survey and how you can use it to bring out the best in yourself and those around you. So, what is the VIA character personality assessment? The abbreviation of VIA is The values in action classification of strength. Character strengths are a core and foundation part of who we are, a collection of positive individual character traits that we all possess and which are linked to our development, well-being and life satisfaction. They can be thought of as key capabilities influencing how we think, act and feel and representing what we value in ourselves. The VIA Character Personality Assessment is a scientific instrument measuring our strength and it's widely used in both academia and schools, organizations and more. So value in action inventory of strengths. The measure of this system of virtues and strength, the values in action inventory of strengths was designed to describe the individual differences of character strengths. The 240 items, 10 for each strength, answered with a 5-point Likert scale can be completed in about 30 minutes. The feedback report consists of the top 5 strengths which are called signature strengths. Now we will discuss strengths and virtues. The 24 strengths are categorized into 6 classes of virtues in no particular order. They are transcendence. So what is transcendence? Including appreciation of excellence and beauty, gratitude, hope, spirituality and humor. As a virtue, transcendent strengths connect us in a meaningful way to the world around us. And the second one is wisdom. Curiosity, creativity, perspective, love of learning and judgment are considered wisdom strengths because they are useful in helping us learn and gather knowledge. And the third one is humanity. This virtue class includes social intelligence, love and kindness. Humanity strengths come into play by helping us build and maintain positive, warm relationships with others. Courage. Strength in this class include bravery, zest, honesty and perseverance. These emotional strengths empower us to tackle adversity and how we tend to work through it. And the next one is temperance. Temperance strength help us manage habits and protect against excess, including managing and overcoming vices. They include self-regulation, prudence, humility, and forgiveness. And the last one is justice. In this category, strengths such as teamwork, leadership, and fairness. With these strengths, we relate to those around us in social group situations. These individual character strengths and virtues are measured using a self-report survey, merely indicating agreement to examples of the strength in action. Now we will discuss 7 benefits of recognizing your strengths. Logically, knowing our strengths allow us to use those that benefit us consciously and more actively, all while developing those that we might potentially find useful. But what does the research say about those benefits? Especially here are a few of the most well established and recent findings on the benefits. The first one is enhanced well-being. Perhaps the most critical overall advantage exercising one's signature strengths has been shown to contribute to greater well-being and lower psychological distress in adults. In youths, research by Seligman and colleagues indicates that the same applies to children. Using core strengths in action was related to higher life satisfaction and decreased depressive. Now we will discuss second benefit of recognizing yourself is self-acceptance. Significant correlation have also been found between specific character strength and self-acceptance. In positive psychology, self-acceptance is an integral part of maintaining a healthy relationship with one's self, helping us look past our perceived deficiencies and knowing deeply that we are enough. The third one is greater happiness. Plenty of researchers have looked at the relationship between character strengths and happiness. Among them, an Israeli study showing that transcendence strength are a predictor of positive affect and action. Another by Peterson and colleagues in 2007 identified several strengths important to happiness through meaning, a key element of Seligman's PERMA model, including curiosity, zest, and hope. The same study revealed relationship between the engagement and pleasure routes to happiness. A 2019 study recently examined the impact of signature strength interventions, which found that developing these core strengths can improve positive effect and boost life satisfaction. Number 4, improved mental health. Building on the above, study also found that developing signature strength can play a role in reducing depression. But as we know, mental health is more than the absence of mental illness. In essence, their findings correspond with those of Teheranchi and colleagues 2018, which shows that character strength negatively impact dysfunctional attitudes and positive influence our happiness. Elsewhere, Zhang and Chin 2018 present evidence linking strengths application and future self-continuity with subjective well-being, which reports earlier studies linking strengths with subjective well-being. In the latter, Gilham and colleagues worked with adolescents to look at the vital role of interpersonal connections and a sense of purpose in future well-being. The fifth one is positive work experience. Hauser and Roach used the applicability of character strength rating scales ACS-RS to examine signature strengths using in organizations and found that the more signature strengths were put into action at work, the higher people's positive subjective experience were. This was important regardless of the nature of the work. More recently, studies have emerged showing that applying signature strength has a particularly strong impact on behavioral outcomes such as job performance and organizational citizenship behavior. Using happiness strength, however, may impact more strongly on psycho-emotional outcomes in the workplace such as satisfaction, engagement, and experienced meaning. Now we will discuss the sixth one, positive effect at school. Studies of students have also found positive correlation between positive moods at school and the character strength of perseverance, social intelligence, zest, and love of learning. Others were linked to overall academic achievement, and still others correlated negatively with school-related negative effect. With this knowledge, we can help students fulfill their potential and create more positive school experience by designing curricula, training teachers and educators, and equipping school with the resources to foster strength development. We are promoting better student quality of. And the seventh is efficient problem solving. Studies have shown that helping youths recognizing, cultivate, and apply their strengths has at least a few benefits when testing the efficacy of strengths interventions. Rashid and colleagues in 2013 demonstrate that children could solve problems more efficiently when taught to utilize their strengths when tackling problems. The same study provided evidence that doing so also had a positive impact on. Clearly, strengths research is a popular and fast-growing area in positive psychology. It would be impossible to cover all the benefits of knowing your strengths in this lecture. The key benefits of this awareness, to sum it all up, lie in allowing us to more consciously apply them at work, in building and cultivating relationships, when tackling adversity, trying to boost our performance and myriad more aspects of life, helping us focus our development both in ourselves and others, including students and children. Creating environments that promote strengths application, such as in organization, therapy, coaching, healthcare, and education. So, are there other ways that we can know our strengths? Yes. Other ways to recognize your strength are strength tests and assessments. There are more than a few alternative assessments if you are hoping to recognize your strengths. Here is a brief overview of some that we have covered elsewhere, but you can also find out more about most of these tests questionnaire and worksheet, activities and exercise in this lecture. 7 most accurate character strength assessment and test are: the first one is Signature Strength Questionnaire SSQ 72, an online assessment based on a VIA framework that identifies 5 or 6 of your top signature strengths. It takes roughly 20 minutes to complete this questionnaire. There are 3 items for each of the 24 character strengths. And the second one is the DISC profile, originally developed by psychologist Dr. William Marston almost a century ago. The DISC profile focuses on 4 individual traits: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. The assessment itself, however, was developed in 1956 by organizational psychologist Walter Clark, and a version is now available online. And the next one is Personal Strength Inventory, an informal online test based on Professor Martin Seligman's strength research, which identifies the strengths you utilized most, how they appear in your day-to-day, and how you can leverage them to your advantage. And the next one is Clifton Strengths, formerly known as the Clifton Strengths Finder. This online instrument helps you to identify your strengths and understand how you can develop your key talent into strengths. This is based on research by author Don Clifton and designed primarily for educators and organizations. Positive psychology exercises to recognize your strengths. Some other science-based ways to find your strengths are: use the You at Your Best exercise to discover your strengths using narrative therapy, leveraging the power of storytelling. You can draw on past experiences to relive times when your positive traits and competencies came to life. The next one is Strength Spotting by Exception Finding. Is not just highly useful for therapists, counselors, coaches, and other practitioners to use with clients. It is also a powerful way to find your strengths by inviting you to look at how you deal with challenges. It gives you insight into resources that you rely on the leverage for positive results, your strengths. The next one is the Reflected Best Self-Portrait. It helps you to search for positive patterns in the things said about you by friends, relatives, colleagues, and others. You will structure these into a coherent narrative and then create an action plan based on your enhanced strength knowledge. It's all about for our today's lecture. I hope you will read it and understand it. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.